Hello, hello! Nouvelle série sur la chaîne. Nouveau jeu, Découverte de The Stanley Parable, la Deluxe édition. Non, attends, c'est comment que ça s'appelle là? Stanley Parable, si, Ultra Deluxe. Ultra Deluxe. Donc, découverte du jeu, qui est une sorte de ce que j'ai compris, l'Ultra Deluxe est un remake avec un petit peu de contenu en plus. Donc, avez-vous déjà joué au jeu? On va dire non. Parce que je crois que le jeu avait été. Je sais plus si c'est sur Steam ou quoi. J'ai eu l'occasion d'y jouer. Je me rappelle pas l'avoir acheté, mais je me rappelle l'avoir joué. Je sais plus. L'étape où on est dans un bureau et à un moment on sort un peu du bureau. Je me rappelle que de ça. On déplace. Ouais, chouïa le curseur. Entrée l'heure actuelle. Au moment où je joue, il est. Oula. 9h33. Enfin, il est 21h. AM, c'est le soir. 9h34. Non. AM, c'est le matin. Non. Alors, attendez. AM, c'est le matin. Et PM, c'est le soir. Voilà. Ok. Et là. Ok. Remarque, les paramètres d'accessibilité sont accessibles depuis le menu principal. D'accord. D'accord. Waouh. C'est le Inception. L'écran dans l'écran dans l'écran. Paramètres, qu'est-ce qu'on peut avoir? Le champ de vision. Ouais, non, 72, on va laisser, on va voir. Vibration, français, sous-titres, taille des sous-titres. Ouais, non. Opacité. Non. En termes d'audio, ça m'a l'air ok. Oula. On va rester comme ça. Interagir, observer, déplacer, s'accroupir. Bon, ça a l'air facile. Et Zébardé. Hello Antox, comment on va? Loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee
Ça va.
number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Sacré Stanley.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ok. Ok, ok, ok. Ah oui, alors, quand... Ah, il n'y a que 11 succès. N'importe quel autre succès la première fois. Finissez Stanley Parable. Quittez le jeu, relancez-le. Jouez Stanley Parable pendant tout un mardi. 888. Cliquez 5 fois sur la porte 430. Terminez Stanley Parable en 4 minutes 22. Wow. Ne pas jouer à Stanley Parable pendant 10 ans. C'est une dinguerie. C'est une dinguerie, ce succès.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Neuf, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
I
20.
have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Non.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417, il a dit. Ok. On voit pas son corps. La lumière blanche. 417. Ok. C'est ça. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 10.
Now, go click a few times on door 437.
437. Voilà.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
C'est littéralement. Et si je te dis de sauter par la fenêtre, tu le fais? 415, 416, 415.
Now, back to door number 437.
Ça va durer longtemps. Ça se trouve, il n'y a pas du tout de succès,
Let's
c'est
see.
programmé
How about you
pour...
click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine?
Une photocopieuse. Ah.
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Ça se trouve, c'est random.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
Monter sur le 419. Mince, comment on saute?
Yes, this is great. You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
416. Elle est où la 416? Elle était pas par là? 417.
almost got it! Now the copy machine do that one again!
Photocopieuse. Ah oui, non, il faut retourner à la même.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes! We did it! Oh, wow.
Succès.
That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you
90
back.
G.
Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now? What were
Il y a
you
encore
thinking?
90 G à notre succès pour avoir déverrouillé n'importe quel autre succès. Ok. Ah, encore un succès. Vous ne pouvez pas sauter. Non, sérieux, on a supprimé l'option. Bon, bah, 3 succès de 90 G. J'ai rarement fait aussi rentable, aussi vite. Tout ce qu'on voit à travers les vitres, c'est peinture brute. Enfin, c'est mur de
When
briques.
Stanley
Enfin, de
came
briques.
to a set
Des
of
moellons.
2 open
Oula.
doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by
Il nous
the
a dit de prendre à
employee
gauche,
lounge
non?
first, just to admire it.
En tout cas, c'est Bagdad dans les bureaux. Ah.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Plus on reste là, plus il y a des dialogues qui se déclenchent, non?
Stanley
Ah,
sat
on peut
around waiting
interagir.
for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
On est assis. On a peut-être plus. Il y a encore un message ou pas? Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? On attend ou on n'attend pas? J'ai fait un test. Bon, ça va un peu couper, enfin, ça va pas couper l'épisode, le stream ou quoi, mais il va y avoir l'écran de pause, etc. J'ai essayé de retourner à l'accueil et de revenir. Voir si ça déclenche quelque chose. Bon, non. Je crois qu'il faut fermer le jeu et le relancer. Allez, on attend. 10 secondes. Bon, on va continuer. À moins que... Et si on fait plus rien? Il avait dit assis. Assis à plus rien faire. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Bon, allez.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Il a dit la première à gauche. Mais si on va tout droit? J'ai pas envie d'écouter les indications.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ah, là, on sort des bureaux. On arrive dans les ateliers. Oh, ces portes qui se ferment derrière soi. L'enfer. Et si on sautait? Je sais pas si on peut mourir.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in
Ah!
control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Excellent. On peut donc mourir. Et on reprend dans notre bureau.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed... Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door
Ça
5
relance le
times.
truc.
Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Si on va à gauche cette fois. Ok.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ok. À part en cacahuète. Il y a un succès si on regarde tout le diapo. C'est vraiment la carotte, le succès. N'empêche qu'on a fait ce qu'on a fait tout à l'heure pour le coup de la porte, là, frapper 5 fois. Je pense que tu fais pas ça s'il n'y a pas de succès. Enfin, quoi que aussi. Si t'as le narrateur qui en parle, oui, peut-être. Ah, le projecteur est en haut, je me demandais. Oh, une porte qui
Stanley
s'ouvre.
stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Et si on ne fait pas demi-tour?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Je reste ici.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
C'est littéralement attendre les dialogues et tes gros machins complètement stupides.
Because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Ça dérape.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now.
Je n'ai plus envie.
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed in front of your screen. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Et si on attend encore? C'est un placard. Dix, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1...
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you
Second
can't
joueur.
do any worse than the person who came before you. You
Ici un
too?
instant.
Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Attends, ça. Ouais, ok. Je sais pas. C'est quand même malin, tous les dialogues liés à juste des petits mouvements que tu fais, c'est vraiment cool. Y'a plus rien! Y'a plus rien! Non! On continue.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a d'écrit?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors
C'est vrai
close
ça?
automatically behind him wherever he went?
C'est vrai ça?
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oula!
Then he imagined himself
Excellent.
soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up.
C'est trop stylé.
How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Bon.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind.
Du coup, on est mort?
I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Et on est mort. Incroyable. Incroyable. Et on est... Alors,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
là j'ai envie de faire
Stanley
pareil, mais
decided to
cette
go to the
fois...
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Cette fois, j'aimerais aller à l'étage
When
voir
Stanley
le
came
truc
to
du
a set
boss,
of
enfin
two
le bureau du
open
boss.
doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ok. L'ascenseur. Il y a trop de possibilités là. Alors attendez. Euh, on va prendre cette porte, déjà. Morning, the morning. Morning, the evening, morning, the breakfast. Morning, crepes. Crepes. Ah, le rouleau de papier toilette est bien mis. Du bon côté. Ça frotte pas le mur. Par contre, il n'y a plus la voie là. Depuis qu'on est arrivé à cet étage, il n'y a plus la voie. Bizarre.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ça devient flippant.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ok.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape.
Although this
Escape.
passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for. Nope, still on board with death.
On va voir s'il nous dit la vérité.
At this
Qu'est-ce qu'il est long,
point,
ce couloir?
Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
C'est vraiment la mort en plus. Ah non! Oh!
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Ah! Ah!
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Ah ouais, c'est tout le LD du jeu. Alors. Ce plan vous montre le bureau au début de la partie, le chemin entre le bureau de Stanley et les deux portes, et le tout premier chemin conçu dans le jeu. Des sections ont été ajoutées et modifiées au cours du développement, mais l'organisation générale est restée presque inchangée depuis la première itération. Ouais. Alors là, je crois qu'il disait que le rythme de cette section d'ouverture devait être irréprochable. Ce couloir a été déplacé et modifié afin que le joueur soit sûr d'atteindre les deux portes au bon moment. Ces deux portes ouvertes constituent la toute première pierre du game design de Stanley Parable. Une fois que cette salle a été créée, le reste du jeu a émergé à partir de ce point de départ, comme une exploration de la contradiction posée par cette pièce. Armoire de rangement. Ordinateur de bureau. On peut pas zoomer. Solitaire. J'arrive pas à voir. Bureau. Son de bouton. Une sélection des sons entendus dans le jeu à chaque utilisation d'un bouton. Chaque son est un mélange de frappe du clavier et de tonalité de synthétiseur. Ah, ça résonne et tout en plus. Excellent. Tableau de paysage. Ok. Ah, c'est ça mince, les crédits? Ah, il y a eu du monde quand même. L'impeccable. Kevin Brighting. Ok. Basé sur l'œuvre de l'équipe de The Stanley Parable 2013. Qu'est-ce qu'on a ici? Le bureau. Salle de maintenance. L'une des premières versions de la salle de maintenance. Ok. C'est immense. Au début du développement, nous avons imaginé une fin où Stanley se retrouvait sur un champ de bataille contre des extraterrestres. Le jeu développerait sa propre intelligence et partirait en guerre contre le narrateur. Nous avons réalisé peu après que c'était pousser la blague trop loin et que c'était peut-être trop plat par rapport au ton du jeu. Certains l'ont aussi vu comme une manière de nous moquer des amateurs de jeux de tir, ce qui n'était pas notre but. Donc c'est des versions qui sont euh, pas dans le jeu. C'est immense. C'est un mail. Après la deuxième bande-annonce que nous avons publiée, nous avons demandé aux gens d'envoyer des questions par email au narrateur. Nous comptions nous en servir pour promouvoir encore le jeu, mais nous n'avons jamais trouvé vraiment trouvé comment les exploiter. Voici une sélection de ces emails. Ils ont dû, je sais pas si c'est des vrais, mais ils ont dû recevoir une flopée. Ok. Bureau. La salle de pause, l'une des premières versions de la salle de pause. Ok. On peut pas y... Ah oui, il y a une vitre. Bureau de Stanley, de gauche à droite, l'évolution du bureau de Stanley au fil du temps. La première en date de novembre 2011, deuxième de mars 2012 et le troisième de février 2013. Ok. Ok. Ouais, il y a de plus en plus d'items. Ça grandit. Maquette du game design. Voici le niveau que Williams, William, le level designer, a envoyé à Davey, le scénariste. En tant que proposition, l'efficacité de ce design a permis à William d'être engagé pour concevoir le jeu tout entier. Si l'environnement a beaucoup évolué, l'organisation originale proposée dans cette maquette est toujours dans le jeu. Ok. Ah, ça sert de la salle des écrans. Voilà. Pendant un moment, l'ascenseur de la salle des écrans pouvait monter ou descendre. Vous retrouviez la liberté en haut et le compte à rebours en bas. Nous avons laissé tomber cette idée car les joueurs n'arrivaient pas à se souvenir de ce qu'il y avait en haut et en bas. On a préféré regrouper ces deux fins. Fin de la liberté. Voici la fin de la liberté telle qu'elle apparaît dans la bêta. Bureau du compte à rebours. L'un des bureaux dans la version antérieure de la fin au compte à rebours. Fin de la liberté. Toute première fin de la liberté. Alpha du jeu. Horloge du bureau. Capture d'écran du bureau du chef en cours de développement. Ok, ok, ok. Salle de pause. Sous-sol. L'une des premières versions de la partie en sous-sol du jeu. Scène coupée de narration. Kevin Britting, la voix du narrateur, a enregistré les dialogues du jeu entier à peu près 3 fois au cours des 2 ans de développement. Voici des extraits des premières prises qui ne figurent pas dans la version finale du jeu.
Stanley walked over the bridge. And finally, he pushed the number 9. Big red button. And finally...
Mhm. Ok. C'est ouais, pas rapide de repartir par là. Modèle de fin relaxante. La fin relaxante a connu plusieurs itérations. Cette pièce est la 4e version de la fin, et nous pensons l'avoir achevée. Mais finalement, nous l'avons abandonnée et modifiée juste avant la sortie. D'accord. Menu échappe. Pendant longtemps, nous avions une fin qui ne se finissait vraiment que lorsque le joueur recommençait depuis le menu échappe. Malheureusement, beaucoup de joueurs ont compris euh, que c'est ce qu'ils devaient faire. Et ce qui s'est révélé frustrant pour tout le monde. Ok. Recommencer le jeu. Levier de la fin relaxante. Ces leviers se trouvaient dans la fin relaxante. Le joueur devait actionner un levier et le narrateur décrivait la couleur du levier choisi. Ok. Fin relaxante, cette capture vous montre l'une des premières versions de la fin connue sous le nom de fin relaxante, finalement abandonnée et fusionnée avec une autre partie du jeu. Ok. Bande-annonce. Nous avons publié 4 bandes annonces lors du développement du jeu, chacune destinée à dévoiler un peu de l'esprit du jeu. Voici la première, sortie en mai 2012. Elle contient une série d'images buggées et la voix du narrateur informé, les joueurs qui est en train de réparer une nouvelle version de The Stanley Parable. De préparer. Non, de réparer. D'accord. Attends, je viens d'où? Je viens de là-bas. J'arrive ici. Salle de réunion. Ok. Plan de maintenance. Il était important de placer correctement les couloirs après les 2 portes, car les joueurs allaient les emprunter plusieurs fois. Nous avons discuté d'un certain nombre de plans, mais finalement, c'est la version la plus simple qui a fait l'unanimité. Ça a sonné? Le minuteur de l'appartement. Dans l'une des premières versions du choix menant à la fin de l'appartement, un minuteur veut laisser 15 secondes pour décrocher le téléphone. Ne pas décrocher le téléphone menait à une autre fin. Le monde charge. La deuxième version correspond à celle que nous trouvons dans la version finale du jeu, mais nous voulions lui donner l'apparence d'un endroit où l'on stockait les marchandises. Ok. Le monde charge a toujours eu pour but de vous proposer de rester ou de sauter vers un autre embranchement. Cependant, après cette première version, nous avons décidé d'ajouter l'option où le joueur tombe et meurt. Ah. Ah bah c'est là où je suis mort, non? Tout à l'heure. Non, j'ai pas sauté là? Ah non, peut-être pas, non. Là, on retombe ici. Ok.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your Xbox. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Fallait vraiment que j'arrête ma console? Intéressant. Et on revient là. Ok.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Qu'est-ce qu'on pourrait
When
essayer?
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up
Dans
to his
l'escalier, on peut
boss's
aller en
office.
bas.
Hoping he'd come into a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Pas laisser le dialogue se
But
faire.
Stanley just
Sortir.
couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
Oh non.
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself.
Ah, là, on est mort. Si on fait recommencer. Bon, du coup, j'ai envie de retester un truc avec le boss.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Genre, je sais pas si on peut mettre un autre code. Tu sur l'écran digital.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your
Ça a
time.
été déjà venu. Ok. Ça enregistre les dialogues
Coming
qui
to a
sont dits quand
staircase,
même.
Stanley walked
Malgré qu'on
upstairs to
recommence.
his boss's office.
Par exemple, ah oui, il y a l'ascenseur aussi. On peut tester l'ascenseur.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to
On peut plus se
nobody.
barrer.
He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Et si on tape autre chose?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Je suis sûr qu'il va s'énerver à force.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Pas besoin de taper le code.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Donc là, on est sûr de crever, quoi. Et si on n'appuie pas?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ok.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Nous, on était combien? 300... Non, 274. Et là-bas. Non, même pas, on est dans les 400, non? 427, non? Je sais plus. C'est pas ça. 427, juste devant. Ouais, je sais pas.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Comment on détruit? Moi, je veux bien tout détruire, mais je sais pas comment on fait. Pas grand chose, hein. Un, deux. Ouais, le 3. Le 3 était là-bas. Non? 3. Je sais pas le 4. J'ai pas le 4. Sur 5. Ah, il est pas là-haut, là? Attends, mais j'y vois rien du tout. Euh... Champ de vision, sensibilité, non, 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 non. Non. Là, il y a escalier. Je peux pas monter. Je peux pas monter. Je comprends pas trop.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won, solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
No. Wow. On est vraiment mort. Ah, c'est chaud. Et je sais pas s'il y avait quelque chose... si on pouvait faire quelque chose ou pas.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes.
La fameuse pièce.
What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Qui attend?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith... Oh, no, you can't... Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may
Ah, on
have
enchaîne une pièce.
noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made
Ah,
just a
même pièce.
few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
C'est là où on était. On est obligé de... On est obligé de faire demi-tour. Et là, on peut plus tomber.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Ah ouais, on peut plus... Oh, c'est horrible. Ah, mais là, on va être obligé d'aller dans son sens. Il nous faudrait une carte. Carte d'accès. Je sais pas où on peut la trouver. Ah ouais, on n'a plus le choix.
almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
On peut pas contrecarrer ça?
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Wow, il y a tout qui est déformé, distorsionné. C'est tout glitché. Ah, on peut pas y aller? Non. C'est dommage. Bon, un peu le choix.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe
Voilà.
after everything we talked about that you...
Tout est
my
cassé.
story. You've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Non. Voilà.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ah ouais, t'es arrivé à un moment où...
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his
Je le fais une
left.
dernière fois pour être sûr.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would.
Ouais,
That
ok,
means
voilà,
choosing
on a plus le
responsibly
choix.
and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up
Donc là,
to
on
his
reprend
boss's
là où on
office,
était
hoping he might
tout
find
à
an answer
l'heure.
there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
On
boss's
peut pas
office.
descendre. Ah ouais, on est dans la version où il nous maintient uniquement le bon chemin. Ah ouais. Là, on n'a plus le choix. Ah oula, ça a changé.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
On dira rien.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it
Au bout
into
d'un
the
moment, il va
receiver
s'ouvrir tout seul.
right there on the wall. I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Non. Je refuse. Révolte.
Okay,
Rébellion.
fine. You're not going to do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me?
Ah, c'est une femme?
Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together.
Excellent.
I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it.
Unity.
So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do.
Désolé, le roi.
Take as much time as you need.
Donc le refus d'ouvrir la porte a fini le jeu. On a une vraie fin là ou c'est... Euh... Finissez Stanley Parable, j'ai pas eu le succès. Hein. Ah, c'est un piège.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his
C'est un
left.
piège. C'est un piège, it's a trap. Non,
This was
encore à
not the
droite.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace, its subtle charm. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
C'est pas comme...
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you. What? Really?
Yes.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look,
Il y a
let me
aussi
prove
la
it.
version
Let me
où on
prove
va
that
au
I'm
bout et
on
on
your
décroche le
side.
téléphone.
Give me a chance.
Ah, il y a trop de possibilités.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Non. La bleue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Je suis
I still
daltonien.
don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Eh non,
All
elle est
right,
derrière.
fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see?
Oula.
There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Ça donne envie. Effectivement, il manque des textures là.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
5 c'est le meilleur.
Aha!
5 hein.
You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Oula. Attends, c'est... Il y a des mecs qui l'ont fini en 2 secondes? 9328e. J'ai pas mis 7 heures. Ah, je suis le dernier, quoi. C'est excellent.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard
Ah, on est
helped you feel
dans l'autre...
motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Ah, 5, hein.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
C'est
In this
excellent.
game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
On ne fait rien.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing.
It's
Your
over,
input was
okay.
extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha!
Oh,
Fascinating.
Firewatch.
What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Mais le truc, c'est que c'est... Avec cette édition-là, dans le jeu d'origine, il n'y a pas ça, parce que je crois que Firewatch est sorti après. On sent que c'est pas exactement les mêmes graphismes, mais tous les éléments sont bien placés, c'est cool. C'est incroyable.
No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly, block it off. Oh,
Voilà.
thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. What's now, Stanley? Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Rocket League.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Trop bien.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have... Hold on. What are you doing?
Oh merde. Je me suis buté comme ça. Oula.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me?
C'est
You
incroyable.
can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Il faut aller où? Ah. Oula. Ce jeu est plein de surprises, dis donc. C'est un peu flippé, hein. C'est sombre de ouf. Les fameux choix. Attends, je vais essayer de retourner au bureau. Ah, c'est peut-être ce qu'elle attend. Et si on va à la fameuse porte à gauche? Y'a rien. Ok. Et il faut faire quoi là?
I wonder what
Les
he
baiser.
found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Étrange, étrange. Très étrange. On revient là. Ah, je pense qu'il nous reste pas mal d'autres trucs à découvrir encore. Non, franchement, c'était cool. C'était cool. Bah, il y aura... Je ferai un autre épisode dessus. Là, je vais m'arrêter là parce qu'on arrive à après bientôt 2 heures. Petite bonne chose. On arrive à bientôt 2 heures d'épisode. On a fait pas mal de trucs. Qu'est-ce qu'il nous reste à faire? Enfin, je sais pas s'il y a d'autres fins, d'autres possibilités. Euh... Il y a il y a le cas de figure où on fait exactement ce qu'il dit, tout le temps. Ça, on l'a pas fait. Il y a le cas de figure où on essaie de retourner dans la salle avec le téléphone et qu'on décroche. Et il y a le cas de figure où on refait ce qu'on vient de faire là, mais en l'écoutant. Et en évitant de se jeter dans le vide, dans les cages de Rocket League, quoi. Donc déjà, rien que ces 3 trucs, je pense qu'il y a moyen. Et je pense qu'en réalisant ces 3 tentatives, ces 3 tests, on découvrira d'autres embranchements. Donc voilà. Voilà. En tout cas, merci beaucoup à tous ceux qui sont passés sur le stream Twitch. On va faire un petit retour menu. Merci à vous qui avez regardé cet épisode sur YouTube. Abonnez-vous, likez, ça soutient énormément. Je vous invite à faire un petit tour sur ma boutique de création artisanale, clubcreate.fr. C'est que des créations uniques. Il y a de tout, de la peinture, sculpture, des dioramas, des figurines, des bombes de peinture customisées, de la peinture sur toile, des créations en carton, en argile, en résine époxy, des magnettes. Il y en a vraiment pour tous les goûts. Clubcreate.fr, vous avez tout sous le stream et sous la vidéo dans la description. Ainsi qu'à faire un petit tour sur mes autres réseaux. J'ai une autre chaîne YouTube, 2 comptes Insta et un compte TikTok. Vous avez normalement tous les liens sous Twitch et sous YouTube. Tous les réseaux Dr. Artec, c'est principalement du gaming. Tous les réseaux Clubcreate, c'est les créations artisanales de ma boutique mises en avant sur les réseaux. Voilà. Des bisous. À très bientôt pour la suite et venez faire un tour sur Twitch, je suis certainement en live. Ciao, bye bye.